Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Jack Rico Productions. We haven't uploaded a video in a while, but today's the day. Super Wildcard Weekend has begun.
Okay, we're going to do our 6 wildcard predictions, talk a little bit about the game. It's been a while, like Matthew said, since we've done one. This is probably one of the next 4 weeks are the best weeks of football, really, if you love the game. This week especially is awesome because there's 6 games. Started out, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. But then they added another game last year.
Last year was the first year of Seed 7s?
No, last year was the game with the Week 18.
Oh, well, that's Week 8. Right. Okay. Anyways, I was just talking about Week 7 seeds in the playoffs. Okay, let's get going. First game is the San Francisco 49ers are favored by 9.5 points against the Seattle Seahawks. What do you think?
The Seattle Seahawks have been a very surprising team this year. They've really come from a team of nowhere. People thought they were going to be the #1 pick in the draft. And turns out they're a wild card team. Reason why is because they have Geno Smith, who threw over 30 touchdowns. I think he threw 30 touchdowns.
He threw 30 touchdowns.
He threw 30 touchdowns. Only had how many interceptions? It doesn't matter.
Like 11, I think.
30 and 11. He had a great year. He had like a resurgence in his career at like 32 years old.
I wonder if he had 30 touchdowns in his whole career. Probably a little bit more than that, but not many. Most people thought that Russell Wilson would outdo him. Russell Wilson threw 16, he threw 30. As I'm a Bronco fan, as we see here, we'll discuss that a little bit more later on. All right, what is your pick for the game?
My prediction for the game is that we got to go on San Francisco's side now. They've lost 2 of their starting quarterbacks. They lost Trey Lance to a broken ankle and Jimmy Garoppolo to a broken foot. And now they have Brock Purdy starting, Mr. Irrelevant, or otherwise known as the last pick in the draft. And he's played very well, honestly. He's played awesome, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he's done a really good job. I think they're 5-0 since he played. He's got something like 12 or 13 touchdown passes and like 4 interceptions. He's been outstanding. Shanahan is an awesome coach who's a great offensive coordinator, loaned by his father, Mike Shanahan. It comes down. He should have been the Broncos coach, but that's another story for another day.
All right, my prediction for the game is San Francisco wins this game 27-10.
All right, so he has San Francisco covering. I have San Francisco winning as well, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I'm going to have a Seattle cover. I'm going to have San Francisco 28, Seattle 21. Next game is the
Cincinnati Bengals.
No, I don't think that's it.
Is that tomorrow?
Yes. Oh, I don't have the order.
Bills.
No.
It's the Bills, isn't it?
The Bills are favored by 13.5 points against Miami. Miami has no quarterback because Tua has a concussion. Unfortunately, he has to play out. Unfortunately, he might have to retire, which is sad. They were great with Tua this year. They have Skylar Thompson, who's not very good at all.
And Tate
Bridgewater They have great wide receivers in Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Going against Buffalo, that has Josh Allen, obviously, and Stephon Diggs, and Singletary is a running back.
They just have a good team in general.
They have just a fantastic defense as well. Okay, what's your predict? What do you think a little bit about Miami?
Miami, unfortunately, is not doing very well this year. Well,
recently.
Recently, even though they were lucky enough to sneak into the playoffs because of the win against the Jets last week, they basically snuck their way in and screwed Pittsburgh.
They didn't screw Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh earlier this year. It doesn't matter when you beat someone, you beat them. So they didn't screw Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh screwed themselves. All right, what's your prediction?
The Patriots earlier in the year, they probably would have.
Doesn't matter if that, this, and that they didn't make it. Even though they finished stronger, they didn't make it. What's your final prediction?
35-10 Pittsburgh. 35-10 Buffalo.
My prediction is 38-13 Buffalo. I just don't think it's going to be close. It's sad that Miami has all these injuries. With Tua, I think it would have been a closer game. I still think Buffalo would have won by 10.
Bridgewater.
Bridgewater, they lost by 14, not like the way they are. All right, tonight's game is probably the most interesting one of today. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars getting 2.5 points. No, today. This is today's interesting game. Jacksonville is playing tonight against Seattle.
So Buffalo's playing tomorrow.
Okay, we're going out of order. We apologize for that because we weren't unprepared. The Jacksonville Jaguars are favored by underdogs by 2.5 points against the Los Angeles Chargers, who have come on but they have a dumb coach who decided to play some of their players the last week of the year against the Broncos, and Mike Williams, their really good wide receiver, is out with a back problem. Stupid coach.
Yeah.
They didn't have to play them at all. You could have sat. I don't know what he was trying to prove. Played Herbert too. Thank God he didn't get hurt. Herbert's an awesome quarterback, one of the best in the league. This is his third year. He's really come into his own. I really liked him. I told Matthew in the draft that he was going to be a great quarterback, and I look like I've been right. Jacksonville's come on. They've won, I think, 5 straight. They were 4-8. They ended up 9-8. They beat the Titans out. Trevor Lawrence has been on fire. He has like 14,
It went from
15
worst to
touches.
first last year.
15 touchdowns and like 1 interception in like the last 7 games. They have Christian Kirk. They have Zay Jones. They have really good talent on.
Evan Ingram, who loves to catch balls.
Evan Ingram, who's done a good job. Would speak a little bit about the Chargers offense.
Justin Herbert's a great player. My dad's buddy is Austin Eckler.
Yeah, like 16 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Keenan Allen, I think, is still hurting, right?
No, he's playing.
You're gonna play?
If he didn't play, they're in big trouble. Okay, what's your
Yeah.
pick for this game?
I was thinking the Chargers at the beginning of the week, but now that I hear that Mike Williams is out, I'm probably gonna take Jacksonville to win this game outright.
I agree with
23-20.
I agree with you. I'm going to pick Jacksonville in a little bit of an upset. I think the coach for the Chargers is a moron. I think that team should be a 14-win team. That's how much talent that they have. I wouldn't be surprised if they get by this game and hopefully get Mike Williams back. They go on a run. But because of Mike Williams being hurt, I'm like with Matthew. I'm going to pick Jacksonville to win 24-20. I do think, however, the Chargers are capable of beating anybody. So it'll be bad for the AFC if they get knocked out. It'll be a lot easier for Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cincinnati.
And what will happen if the Chargers lose? Do you think Staley gets fired?
I think there's a good chance he gets fired, yeah. All
In
right.
his second year?
Okay, let's go to the next game. We're not going in order. We apologize.
Next.
Pick the next AFC game, the Ravens.
The Ravens and the Bengals is a rematch of last week's game.
I think the Ravens are favored by
No, you mean the Bengals.
The Bengals are favored by 9.5. Go ahead,
Lamar Jackson is
you
still-
speak a little bit about
Lamar
Baltimore.
Jackson is still out.
I'll speak about Cincinnati. Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson is still out with a knee injury, so they're going to be starting Tyler Huntley at the quarterback. Luckily, they have Huntley, who's a little bit better than the bum they played last week, which was Anthony Brown.
Okay. They have some good receivers.
Good
though.
decent receivers.
Great tight end.
Great tight end, decent
Who
receivers.
is mentioned to people who tight end is?
Mark Andrews
Okay, and they have a great running back too.
and Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins.
He's played really well recently.
Yes, they've all played well.
Um,
But unfortunately, without Lamar Jackson, I just don't see the Bengals losing.
all right, the Bengals to me with Joe Burrow, MVP candidate, threw over 30 touchdowns. I think he threw 4,000 yards. He's in his 3rd year, is outstanding as well. First pick overall. Cincinnati lucked out and got him. To be a team to get a quarterback like that to set up your future for the next 10 to 15 years is outstanding. People have the big 3 in the AFC: Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow. They compare Allen to John Elway. They compare Burrow to Brady, which is unfair, but I get where they're coming from because of his demeanor. And Mahomes is by himself. There's no one to compare Mahomes to because he's the best. And I already think he's an all-time great. He's gonna be. He could be up there with Brady someday if he wins enough championships. Probably second.
Let's hope he doesn't pull a Rodgers and only wins one.
He's better than Rodgers. No way. He's got a better attitude than Rodgers too, by the way. He's very close. Burrow has great receivers and Jamar Chase, Higgins,
and
Boyd. They can run the ball with Mixon. They got it all, really. They're just super talented team.
And their offensive line is actually doing better.
It's done better this year. I think the Bengals are going to win this game 31-17. What was your score? You didn't pick a score.
I didn't pick a score. I think even without, I think 35-17.
35-17. Okay, so next game we're going to do is the
There's 2 more, right?
3 more.
3 more.
NFC games. Minnesota, Dallas. What are we missing? We did already. So after this game, we have Minnesota, Dallas. I think we have 2 more to do, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, people, we're clueless.
We're
Right,
not
next
clueless.
game we're gonna do is the Minnesota Vikings are favored by 2.5 points at home against the New York Giants. Giants have come on strong. They went from worst to first. Yeah, they did. Worst to first. They had a good year. Excellent coach by Brian Dable.
Not first. They didn't win the division.
Worst to making the playoffs. Sorry. They did a wonderful job from last year when they were a really bad team, coached under Joe Judge, who's clueless. But with Jones, Saquon Barkley, defensive truck with Thibodeau, causes fumbles, gets sacks. They're a really strong team. And you speak a little bit about Minnesota.
Minnesota's had a very good year this year. They did fall. I will say they have fallen off a little bit down the stretch, but they still had a very good year overall. Winning the division, having a 33-point comeback.
Best comeback in NFL history.
Best comeback in NFL history. And then, and I called it that day. I said,
Yeah, you did. You were right. We watched it too. We had my phone because we left my parents' house and we were watching on the phone NFL Plus, which is a great thing, by the way.
Yes. Okay, so unfortunately, I do not see Minnesota winning this game because I just think they're a little inconsistent now. They've gotten blown out twice this year by Dallas and Green Bay, and I just don't really see them doing much this year. So maybe they'll be back next year if they can get a better offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. I think it's on.
I don't think the offense is the problem. I think it's the defense is the problem. It's shaky.
Well, they're 10-0 in one-score games, which is
right. No, that's good. Okay, what's your pick for the score?
I've got the Giants actually winning this game.
What's the score?
The Giants win this game 24-21.
I'm picking Minnesota to win this game. No one thinks they can win. They did win the division. They still won, what, 12 games or 13?
12.
I'm going to pick Minnesota to win this game. Let's pick a Cynthia score. 25-17. Cynthia Freeland, by the way, we're talking about. You people have no idea probably. Last game of the day is probably one of the most interesting in the NFC. The Dallas Cowboys are favored by 2.5 at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going against Tom Brady. As everyone has to say every single time, the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yes.
Which he is, but you don't need to remind us every time you say it. They remind you constantly. We live in Boston, so it's just never gone away. He is the greatest. Nobody will ever catch him for championships, but you need to tell me he's the greatest of all time. Anyway,
so the Bucs basically snuck into the playoffs because of a terrible NFC South
8-9 record.
So Brady's first time going under 500, and it's just that I just don't think Buccaneers are going to do that well in this game. They played poorly in the last couple of games, even though they did play good against Cardinals.
The Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals suck. Oh, they made a comeback against the Cardinals.
And they come back against the Panthers because
They've
Mike Evans toasted.
Brady's had some awesome comebacks recently this year. I have to give him credit for that.
He's got plenty of comebacks.
But a not so great team. Shaky offensive line because of injuries. He does have great receivers in
Evans and Godwin. And
Gage. They have talent, big time. Offensive line's a little shaky.
Defense has been all right.
Speak about Dallas. Dak Prescott's thrown way too many interceptions than he should.
He has regressed.
Talented quarterback. However, he's got great receivers too with CeeDee Lamb. He's got two awesome running backs with Pollard and Elliott. Pollard's really coming to his own this year. He's a free agent. He's going to make a boatload of cash. The Cowboys should try to keep him, but I'm not sure if they'll be too. They might be able to franchise tag, and it'll probably be like $20 million. I don't know if they want to do that.
$20 million for a running back?
Between 17 and 20 million. Yeah, it's the top 5 at each position. Some guys make big money. Anyways, Brady is always dangerous in these kind of games. He is playing at home. However, I just think too many people love Tampa Bay, and Dallas is the better team, and I think they're going to come out as the better team. I think they win this game 24-17. Also, even though Tampa's made some comebacks on the season, they average like 18 points per game for Brady. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not good at all.
Also,
all right.
And then for me, I've got Dallas winning this game 31-21.
Okay, let's try to finish. We have 30 seconds. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it.
This video is not authorized by the NFL or any of its players or the Denver Broncos or Terrell Davis or anything. Thank you guys for watching and have a good day.
Have a good day. Ciao.